you did tell me that while on this show all the time, we talk about the practical side, the side that, when you're facing clients and in the middle of transactions. Yes, I'm learning a lot about that. But you had told me the real estate test and how you get your license is a little bit different. They want you to know a lot about a lot.
A lot about a lot that, frankly, you rarely use. And if you needed it, you could just Google it.
Exactly. Like, for instance, how many square feet are in an acre.
Right.
But having said that, I did go through the process. I took the real estate classes through the Des Moines Area Association of Realtors and the DMAR classes, which I do, especially if you are prone to, if you're doing it at your own pace, sometimes you get easily distracted. I highly recommend the in-person classes. They do a great job.
I was just talking about this with someone the other day who was looking to get licensed and explaining there is a self-study online version of the 60-hour course. And then there's also live classes that are either in person, and they still do them via Zoom as well. But yeah, repeatedly tell people, I have seen a lot of people struggle with the online version that's self-paced, not because of the difficulty of the material being any different, but it's just on an online version, they make you do a test for every module, and sometimes the verbiage is tricky and they expect you to know every little piece. Whereas when you have an instructor, I'm sure you experienced this, they said these are the things to concentrate on for the test.
Yes.
And then having a person explain things just helps a little bit, right?
Yes. They were pretty up to date on what you would be questioned about on the test, or what they feel is most important, not only to test to get your license, but also out in the real world too. Like,
yeah.
This is what you need to know for the test. This is what you need to know for the test and for your real estate career.
Yeah.
So they did a great job. So if you can, take the in-person test, because it does make the testing easier.
Yes. And I've seen,
or less intimidating, maybe. You feel
just more guided. More guided, I think, is really.
And I was nervous going into test, but I did feel like, look, I took these classes. My instructors were great. I tried to study as much as I could. I am as prepared as I can be for this attempt, because you can also test more than once.
Right.
If you
for
happen to not pass it.
Not for free.
You do need to keep paying for it. But fortunately, and there's two parts of the test. You have to pass the Iowa portion and the national portion. And I ended up passing both on the first try.
Woohoo!
And was able to become a licensed agent with your team.
Yes.
But
congratulations.
Yes.
2 years.
2 years ago.
2 years.
But and I know that you're always looking for new real estate agents, and I think it's a good thing that we're talking through this process about how you become an agent, because it's
Well, I mean, I might as well break it down really quick, since we were talking about, obviously there's the 60-hour that can be done self-paced. We recommend against it if you are able to accommodate doing it live in person or via Zoom. There's a lot of different resources, but DMAR, the Des Moines Area Association of Realtors, Iowa Association of Realtors, they offer a lot of different options. You also have to do a background check. Do you remember getting your fingerprints and sending them into the FBI? You've got like special connections for that, though.
I do know somebody that could take my prints.
So it was maybe a little easier for you than, I mean, I think a lot of times people are like, oh my gosh, like, how do I do that? But we give you some ideas on how to go about that. There's also 3 additional courses that you have to take, either before you take the exam or after, however you prefer. It's 12 hours of listing practices, 12 hours of buying practices, and 12 hours of developing professionalism and ethics.
Yes. And I would say that, I mean, all of them were informative, but obviously you want to know about listing practices, buying practices, and how to be ethical while doing it.
All important things to know when you're working on, we have a unique responsibility. We're not attorneys, but we're dealing with contracts all the time.
Yes. And
we're dealing with people's money. I mean, there is definitely a very important fiduciary duty that we carry for our clients. And so you have to know a little bit.
And if you're going or thinking about going through the process too, you can enroll in these classes, get going, and you can also get your fingerprints done and have everything ready to go. So as soon as you're done with your classes and certified that you completed them, and then you take the test, you're ready to go to get your license.
Yeah. Well, just that same person I was talking to last week, she was asking, like, how long will this take me to go through the process? And I tell most people it's around 2 months. That if someone's like, I'm lining everything up, 2 to 3 months, depending on how your schedule is very realistic. I have seen people do it within 30 days. I think the record setter that I've personally seen is Allison Langrick on my team, who did it in like 27 days. But everything lined up perfectly, and she just like powered through it.
I did end up, I took the classes, in all the classes I was done in January. So all of my classes were done within the month of January. And I believe I tested 4 days after I was done with my classes. So I didn't do it that quickly, but it was maybe 6 weeks that I got through it. So,
well, a testament to your work ethic.